Hi there, my name is Jessica Hagg, and I'm director of the Arlington Street Community Center. And today I have with me Jennice Chewlin of the Chewlin Group. Hi, Jennice.
Hi, Jess. How are
I'm
you?
good. How are you
I'm
doing?
great. Thank you so much for inviting me today. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. I feel like this is going to be such a rich conversation, and I'm so excited for more people in the city to learn about you and what you do. So, for those who
Yeah.
don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what the Chulin Group is?
Yes, absolutely. So, Chulin Group was formed by me. I'm the CEO and founder. And what we do is provide companies who care about the health and well being of their workforce with skill building workshops to help them reduce stress, prevent burnout, and return to joy. So we have a really great array of workshops that help employees engage with emotional well-being and most importantly, have access to effective tools that will help them experience those things.
That's so awesome. And I think, especially after the pandemic and returning to work in person, especially for people who are working from home and then they have to readjust to going back to work in person, it's really hard to find that life work balance. And we don't know those self care skills. We know that we have to take care of ourselves, but
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that we necessarily know the best way to do that. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I formed in 2016, but
Mm,
the need for emotional well-being support and tools
hmm.
has really skyrocketed for obvious reasons
Right,
for what you just pointed to. And the idea is that there are ways that we cope with stress.
right.
It's just that sometimes some of the decisions and choices we make may not be the healthiest.
Mm,
So we work on providing tools that are easily integrated into your everyday life
hmm,
that you can practice. Take what you want, leave the rest. And the
hmm.
idea being is to spend time reflecting on, what's been working for you, what hasn't. And yeah, COVID has made a lot of us realize, both employers and employees, what's important,
Right.
what they want to change,
Hmm.
and how to support their workforce so that they feel engaged and productive. I think
Right.
that's the idea.
Right. I'm so happy that we have this in Nashua because you're based in Nashua now.
That's right. I moved here recently with my family, and we've been here about 7 months. But I've hit the ground running,
Oh yeah.
making connections, letting people know what Chewling Group is all about, and while attending an event, someone, not just one, a couple people were telling me, "Do you know Jessica? Do you know Jessica?" And I said, "No, but it sounds like I need to." And when I met you, I mean, it was just pure light. Like, you are so passionate
Oh,
about what you do. And you were also very interested in knowing who I was as a new member of the community. And I really felt safe talking to you and felt that you cared. So thank you for that,
oh my
Jess.
gosh. No, thank you. It was the same thing for me that multiple people were calling me and saying, Janice is this new businesswoman, this new mom in Nashua. You have to meet her. I just gave her your information. I hope that's okay.
Mhm.
And when we met, I felt the exact same way. I just felt so comforted, and I feel like you're very authentic and again passionate and knowledgeable about what you do, and not to mention that I get to work with your little ones in the preschool, which is such a joy. They are so much fun. They're so smart. I love
Oh,
being able to play with them.
thank you so
And
much.
it's really just been such a seamless collaboration. And we even had you come to our community festival and speak about stress management there, and we had a lot of parents there. We had some folks who don't have children there as well, but everybody needs stress management. And everybody that was in that workshop told me afterwards what a great job that you did, and they were so thankful that you came and shared those tips and tricks with them. And so we have to do it again, for sure.
That was a great event. So you did a really great job, and all of the community partners that were there to support, where it was wonderful to meet them, because what I realized as a new member in the community, both as a mother and a professional, is that I'm looking and seeking out community builders, because that's where I feel safe as a mother and, you know, for my family. But also professionally, I'm seeking out who here is engaging with the community, because what attracted me to what you're doing is that it's all about community engagement and building trust and a space where others feel seen, valued, validated, and you're doing that. So as soon as I met you, and I joked that it started with hello.
It did.
You know?
It really did. Yes. I think we met at the Dominican Father's Day event.
Yes,
right?
we did.
And I love that event. And they have the Dominoes tournament at that event. It's a Dominican Father's Day and Dominoes tournament. And somebody reached out to me and they said, we want to get a Dominoes group going throughout the year, so that when the time comes for the tournament, there are already people, you know, who have been playing against each other. They already have their matches set up. And I said, okay, let's get it started at the center. When can we do that? So that's definitely something I'm looking to start. And I'm just looking for who is missing, like who doesn't know about the center yet? Why don't they know? And what kind of programs and events are they looking for that they can come and use the center? Because that's why we have it, for everybody in Nashua to be able to get use out of this shared community space.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the approach that you're using, that it's community-led, community-driven. It aligns so much with my business values and my personal values. So supporting you and the center is something that I find joy doing. Yeah, and so doing the stress reduction class for the community day was important, because I know that everyone is showing up with what, you know, we all experience stress that will never go away. It's really about the tools that we can use to manage it.
Right.
And for me, how I set up my business is to have equitable access to these tools.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about how important it is to think about how you're caring for yourself and how you can better care for others.
Right.
And so it's something that I think about, because there is a lot of talk and value in the spectrum of ways to take care of ourselves. Therapy, community,
right.
Other resources. So for me, I'm specifically working with employers, because parents are employees. Even non-parents, you know, need an opportunity to figure out on their journey of self-work, self-awareness, how to best take care of themselves so they can show up for others.
Right.
They need access to some research-based tools.
Right.
So I'm happy that I got to do that, and I look forward to other collaborations that we're going to have.
Yes, yes, at the center, and you have some other community partnerships already lined up.
That's
you
right.
have some events coming up.
That's right. So I have a workshop with the YMCA of Nashua coming up on January 24th.
That's awesome.
And
is that virtual, in person?
It's in person.
In person.
And we're going to be talking about mental well-being 101. The idea that we work a lot on our physical health, but working on our mental health and our mental well-being is just as important.
Right. And where do you start?
Where do you start? What impacts your mental well-being, and what are some tools that you can use to improve your sense of well-being? So I'm looking forward to that in January, and then I'm also hosting a virtual event for anyone who wants to attend called Building Boundaries, Not Burning Bridges. And that's on November 17th.
Yay, that's coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up. I'm really excited about that opportunity. And the idea here is, in our workshops, what's weaved throughout these workshops is the management, like, well, how can you make changes to improve your ability to cope with stress.
Right.
And boundary work is weaved through that. And so I'm choosing to do a workshop focused on it to give people some confidence, and to also break down some myths that surround boundary work.
Right.
That like no one's gonna like me, or I'll be viewed as someone who's not high maintenance, or I'm not a go-getter.
Right.
So all of these fears. So we're gonna help demystify boundary work and move to an awareness and permission that
Right.
having boundaries is healthy.
Yep.
And can help you with coping with stress. So
Right.
those are two ways. And I'm looking for other employers or agencies that want to connect and offer emotional well-being support to their staff.
Right. If people are hearing about this and they say, oh my gosh, I want to attend, or I want this for my business, what's the best way for them to find you or contact you?
The best way to contact me or find me is through my website, and that's www.chewlingroup.com.
Perfect. And I went to your stress class and I loved it at the center, and I loved it, and I think it is really important because we do have these stereotypes of, boundaries make you selfish, or that selfishness is always a bad thing. Like, where is the line between taking care of yourself and being selfish? And I think a lot of it has to do with your intentions and how other people are responding to those intentions. And that's where that fear can come from, of building boundaries, of what if I set up this boundary and nobody thinks they can rely on me anymore? Or what if I set up this boundary and I'm not doing as much at work anymore? And that's something that I've been working on with myself, going to classes and going to workshops like yours, and even with my therapist, because I think it's really important that, like you were saying, everybody needs to have access to mental well-being resources that are research-based. That's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you make such a good point about that fear. It's so strong. And what I liked, even being in the center and with the group that was in attendance, is that everyone was there, wanted to be there.
Right.
They made a choice to stay. They could be anywhere else, but that choice is a declaration that they care about themselves.
Right.
And I think that that's so empowering and special that I get to be a part of that, because I myself, I've struggled with my mental well-being, with balancing my work responsibilities and my home responsibilities.
Right.
And it can be a lot.
Yep.
And so I think it's important for me as a public health practitioner to say out loud, I struggle too. I have tools, I have access to tools, and I use them every day. And some days I don't get it right.
Right. And I think one of the most important things to me that I really value about your workshops is, because you're in Nashua, you're right here. So, going to a workshop, attending it on Zoom, going in person, if you have a question, or if you have a scenario that you say, hey, I'm really proud of myself that I practiced this, would you recommend any ways I can do it better next time, or whatever? If they have any questions or comments, it's so easy to contact you.
Absolutely.
You're right here.
Yes. I mean, I'm really proud of myself and my ability to be accessible to my community. That's, I'm community driven.
Right.
We're very like-minded in that. And I think that's what makes it so special to work with you, is that it's all about the community. I believe that creating a sense of community is healing.
Right.
And is powerful.
Right.
So it's important to me, and that's why I invest right here where I am.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, because my research in college was on children who have experienced trauma and adverse childhood experiences, and how they take that with them throughout their lives. It affects their brain development, their behaviors, and then behaviors well into adulthood as well, even if they don't recognize that it's something that happened to them in childhood. And a child cannot heal from trauma if they don't have at least one positive relationship in their life. And that's scientifically proven. Their body and their brain doesn't feel safe enough to heal yet. And so that's why I think being community-based is so important, because as people, we are relationship driven, and we do need to know that we can turn to somebody, because nobody is off by themselves. Nobody can do anything just on their own. We all need support.
Absolutely. And again, kudos to the center that
thanks.
you're providing the space for people to come and build that community. The Domino's night, the fatherhood group that just started.
Yes, that has been so fulfilling to me. We've only had 2 meetings so far, and we're still trying to figure out. It's usually once a month, and we're trying to see if we should continue it once a month or if we should build it out to be once every 2 weeks, bi-weekly. But the dads who are coming, and it's not just for dads, it's for anybody who's fulfilling the role of fatherhood in a child's life. So we have some young men there who don't have any biological children, but they're helping raise their nephew or their younger sibling. Or if you're a godparent and you provide, the role of fatherhood in a child's life, you're welcome to come to this group. And I've partaken in both of the meetings that we've had, talking with the dads and hearing their experiences. And I really just wanted to make a space where, especially for men, that they can just come together and have a conversation, and there's no requirement to be there. It's not that, oh, we're all in recovery together, which we definitely need groups like that. But usually when you think of men's groups, they're in that sort of setting, or it's clubs, like sports clubs. And this is a space that all of those people can come together. Everybody is welcome. And the guys that we have in the group are so awesome, and they're so willing to share and to listen. And they're just, I'm so excited for the future of that group. So this month I'm planning out when our next meeting will be. And we also have a different event series coming up where we're going to be handing out free winter coats and free sneakers for children. So I've been taking signups for that and trying to set up distribution days with volunteers to give away those coats to people who need them.
That's awesome. I mean, again, you see a need and you're stepping up, the center stepping up for that. And it radiates. Like for me, I believe that power of building the community in that sense touches the lives of those folks to then go home and continue that ripple effect.
Right.
And that's how I view well-being and working on yourself. Addressing the whole, like, am I selfish if I work on myself or spend time healing myself?
Right.
And the ripple effect and the impact that one person can have on working on themselves can, of course, lead to a lot of positive changes. So I think it's a great, wonderful work that we're both doing and that we're connecting, and hopefully in the future there'll be other collaborations, and of course always support from me and my family on my end.
Yes. I'm always willing to support. I would actually love for you to come to one of our fathers groups if we're able to set a date in a few months to come and speak with them about stress management. And we just had our Halloween party, our 5-year anniversary at the center. We had 73 people come to that. It was so packed. I think everybody had fun. I kind of felt like a headless chicken running around and, okay, you guys need more food? Oh, I gotta put out more plates, and running around checking on everything. But it looked like everybody had a really good time, and there were so many people, and we did have a lot of food. We had ice cream, and I think that I want to create more spaces like that people just come in and they decorate a pumpkin, they got to dance together and meet other families. Yes,
I mean, I attended the event, and it was so well attended. It was well ran. There was a piece of a section for everyone to do a little something, and then my favorite was the dancing thriller at the end. Again, like, because of that, I have met other family members, so that when we went to the event at Gurley Park for Halloween, the Boo Bash.
Yes.
We saw another family. We
Oh.
chatted. How you doing? And I think that's the point,
Right.
And so
yeah, relationships are valuable. Like education is valuable, skills are valuable, but creating spaces for positive relationships is also valuable.
Exactly. And so when I say I'm community driven, I also bring that element into my workshops where, I'm not, this is not a seminar where I'm
Right.
just speaking, but this is
Oh,
really
it's so interactive.
interactive and
Yes.
engaging for people to reflect
Yep.
and hear about the science behind stress,
Right.
joy, and then using some research-based tools, and we practice right there
Right.
so that people can experience like how easy it is to tap into and reflect again on how they felt afterwards. In the short time that I did that, it was I wish I took a photo of everyone's face
Yeah.
while we were in meditating,
yeah.
it just looked so peaceful.
Right.
So I really enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just so lucky that I get to find and connect with other organizations like the center to keep moving forward, to push through the good
Right.
and right in this world and keep it moving forward.
Right. The only other time I love what we've created at the center so far because, since the center kind of reopened after COVID and then I started there's been a big shift of, oh, look, now there are different programs going on and different events going on and community nights. I think moving forward, it's not sustainable to keep having them every Friday night, but even if there's not a community night, there will be another event. So we have the Brazilian Connections community that is using the center. We have the fatherhood group using the center. We have a lot of different spaces, and I wanted to create more openings in the schedule to allow for more people to come and make use of the center.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to go back to making sure that we're engaging new people. And I don't think it's even we need to just engage who wants to be there, because if they want to be there, the center is a safe place for them. And one of the events we have coming up is November 19th with a nonprofit called Marnita's Table. And they do what we do, which is intentional community connection. And that day, they're providing 2 training sessions on if you want to meet other people in the community and you want to learn how to be intentional in connecting with other people who are a different race than you, are a different religion than you. If you're a parent, they're not a parent. Whatever differences you have and you want to learn how to better connect with people, that's what their training is about. And everything that they offer, they have free childcare, free food, every program that they offer is free. And so they're going to be using our space on the 19th, which is really exciting.
That is exciting. I hope to attend.
Oh, thank you. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be there for the morning session. And then I actually have graduation that I have to attend, and then I'll be right back after it's over. And then it's already November. It's November 2nd when we're filming this,
Yes.
which is hard to believe, but Thanksgiving is coming, and then obviously snow is going to be coming soon as well.
Our first winter.
Yes. Yeah, good luck. Do you have a coat? Did you buy boots?
I appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm originally from South Florida and have spent the last 20 years in really warm weather between South Florida and the Virgin Islands. And this is going to be a big change for us.
Right.
And everyone says, oh, you don't know. You don't know what's waiting for you.
Well, the funny thing is that we don't know either because it used to be very consistent that the winters would be really hard. And I honestly think the hardest part is ice because you can't see it and it's not as easy as snow to take off, you know? And it's more dangerous, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think that when we have a really big influx of new people coming to Nashua just based
Yes.
on, international and also national events. A lot of people are moving to this area
I
that
know.
might not have experienced a New England winter before. So
Good point.
maybe that's a sort of event we can have. And I have on our board right now at the center, what kinds of events do you want to see moving forward? And people have added over 30 different ideas of the
Awesome.
kinds of events that they'd like to see. And I have every intention of making each one of those happen.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that moving forward. And I wanted to mention one other thing after I believe you had mentioned Marnita's table and
Table.
how they're doing the community connections.
Yeah.
It's escaping me right now.
Uh-huh.
But is there anything else you have two events coming
Yep,
up?
I have two events, YMCA on January 24th, but before that, on November 17th, I'll be doing an online event through Zoom. You can register on Eventbrite or through my website on building boundaries, not burning bridges. And I also wanted to note that, when you work with Chewlin Group, that your dollars are actually going towards our community fund as well, which we've established the community fund to help with our values of community. So what that means is that for every job that we secure, a percent goes into the community fund to help provide scholarships for attendees to attend our workshops. And also because I also am an advocate for diversity and inclusion,
Right.
and am an advocate for early childhood, children and families, we also use that community fund to purchase books, to help organizations build their libraries,
Right.
to help them celebrate diversity and inclusion as well.
Right. And we did that.
We did
that.
do
Oh my
that.
gosh.
So Chewlin Group and Arlington Street Community Center collaborated, put funds together, and purchased books through another great organization, Rowie's Readery in
Yep.
West Palm Beach, Florida. And that trio collaboration has, helped build a diverse
Yep.
library at the center.
Yep.
And I feel really good about doing that. So it's,
Right.
a trifold effect.
For me, especially as a young child and working with young children so often, it's so important that they see themselves, whether it's in a book, in a movie, even on signs. When I think of the kids that I work with who are, using wheelchairs, how often do they see themselves represented in the media, Or if you think about popular kids movies, who can see themselves and who can't? And so it's really exciting for me that any child who comes to the center will be able to see a little part of themselves in a character in a book. That is so important to self-esteem and showing respect.
Yes.
And I'm so thrilled with that, and I'm so grateful to you and to Rohi's Readery that we have that as an asset for the center.
Yes.
Because that's just a part of my mission, and part of the way I approach life is who's missing. Who are we not representing? Who have we maybe overlooked, and how can we remedy that?
That's right. I mean, that right there, where you're standing in curiosity and questions and leaning into that, I think that is powerful and impactful for our community. So I'm excited to see what you bring to Arlington Street Community Center and the partnerships that you bring in because of this community-driven approach, curiosity. And I wanted to mention one thing when you were talking about the books, is that we both, I think, can agree that representation matters.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And so being the door, the window, the mirror to someone else or to a family is critical for growth, for learning, for self-care. So, and I should mention too that my workshops are both in English and in Spanish. So while I am not a native Spanish speaker, I've worked really hard on learning my mother's tongue so that I could communicate with my family and my community.
Right.
And I often joke that my Spanish is like my salsa dancing, that I can defend myself for one song and then that's it.
Right.
But jokes aside, I really have worked hard, and so I'm happy and proud that I can provide these accessible tools in Spanish too.
Definitely. And that's something. When I went to Marnita's Table, just had an event in Nashua, at Nashua High North, and it was called Inspire New Hampshire. And I actually went with a coworker who works with the Smart Start Coalition, Stevie. We went together, and every ethnicity in Nashua was represented in that room, and they had 6 translators on site, 6 different languages for anybody who needed it, and people of all ages were there. There were little tiny babies, there were older people, and that to me, these here are my people, here we are, and everybody is there because they want to connect with other people in the community. And a really big realization that I had there was, at one point they were asking us to go to certain parts of the room based on our answer to a question. If you like to watch movies before you go to bed, go to this side. If you don't watch any TV before you bed, this side, questions like that. And they were asking how long people had been in Nashua, and the group of people who had been in Nashua less than a year was really significant. I want to say it was close. It was a bigger group than I thought it would be, and there were probably 50 people at the event, and I would say that maybe 1/5 of the people had been there for less than a year.
Wow.
And then the highest was if you've been here over 25 years, So seeing the comfort of the people who had been here for such a long time and the slight anxiety of, yes, I've been here less than a year. It was almost, come talk to me. I'm new here.
Yes.
And having that opportunity to make it so apparent of, I'm new here and I want to get involved.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why I'm so excited that they're coming to the center.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doing great work here. So I can't wait to attend and feel that connection with everyone.
Right.
And I know that Nashua is growing in numbers for diversity. And that is one of the many reasons that we moved to Nashua specifically.
Right.
That, and shout out to the Nashua Public Library, that we stopped by, we saw what they were doing, we saw the books on display, and with young children, representation matters. I was really excited about the library, but I also saw that Nashua was growing in its diversity. And so being from a multicultural family, my heritage is Puerto Rican and Peruvian descent, and my husband is Trinidad and Tobago. So with us, we really wanted to be sure that we were going to live in a place where we could see others, we could hear our language, we could taste our food. So we are excited. We're excited to be part of that growth and part of that exponential growth.
Right. I think that that's so important. And I'm not originally from Nashua. I came to work in Nashua from Lowell, Massachusetts, which is also a really diverse city. Lowell is diverse with different populations. Some of them are the same, and there are some groups that are missing from each city, but the same thing for me, that I knew I wanted to work in a place that I'm working with different groups of people who want to connect with each other. And I found that really easily in Nashua. I think the drive to work with others can be found in any organization that you go to. And people collaborate quite easily in Nashua, which from Lowell is a lot bigger. And so I never really saw that the same way that I see it here. And I really liked that. And that's why I knew I wanted to work here.
Yes, I see it too. As a new community member, I see the interagency connections, collaborations. And that's awesome and exciting to see.
Right. Yeah. I come from. My mom is first generation Azorean Portuguese, 100%, and my dad is American, and his family has been here for a while now. And I grew up. My mom and both my grandparents, they came over when they were teenagers, were always speaking Portuguese. I was very involved in the Portuguese Cultural Society of Lowell, and so I knew I wanted to go to a place that celebrates cultures the same way I experienced growing up. And so I'm really happy
Yeah.
that both of us have found that here.
In Nashua. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Um, I think we just have a couple minutes before we have to wrap up.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I mention we're going to have a holiday celebration, a winter holiday celebration sometime in December. And we have our fatherhood group that goes on once a month. And we also have other groups, as we've mentioned, starting up soon as well. The best way to find out what's going on at the center is always on our website. We're active on Facebook, but the most updated information will always be on our website. And the two tabs to really take a peek at would be our calendar and our news tabs. Those are where you'll find our events or groups that are meeting. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
I would just say thank you to you, Jess, for this opportunity to come and have a great conversation about our professions, communities, mental well-being. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I love spending time with you. And I do have to mention everybody who I've introduced you to, they always come back to me and they say, how can I be Janice when I grow up?
Oh my gosh.
I think that you're just such an easy person to talk to because you're very understanding, you're very patient. And like I mentioned before, you're very knowledgeable and willing to share your resources with the community, and I think that's just such a beautiful thing. So thank you for being here and spending time with me and sharing what we do with the community, and we'll see each other very soon.
Yes.
And thank you for spending time with us. We hope to see you at the center and at Janice's events soon. This is Jessica Hagg from the Arlington Street Community Center. I hope you have a good day. Bye.